The birth of Bugs Bunny, 1940. Bugs Bunny made his official debut in 1940 with Tex Avery's A Wild Hare. Though earlier rabbit prototypes appeared in the late 1930s, this short introduced the version audiences recognize today. Voiced by Mel Blanc, Bugs instantly stood out with his Brooklyn Bronx accent, laid-back wit, and the debut of his iconic line, "Hey, what's up, Doc?"
What's up, Doc?
Unlike Mickey Mouse's innocence or Popeye's brawling, Bugs represented clever confidence, outsmarting rivals instead of overpowering them. Character designer Bob Givens gave him a longer, sleeker look, later refined by Bob McKimson into a rounder, more expressive design. From the start, Bugs embodied resilience and trickery, qualities that mirrored the American spirit on the eve of World War II. His arrival marked Warner Brothers' transition from slapstick-driven shorts to personality-based comedy, setting the stage for Bugs to become their flagship star. Refining the design, 1940s. Following A Wild Hare, Bugs Bunny quickly became the focus of Warner Brothers. Best directors, each shaping him in their own way. Bob Clampett leaned into wild, exaggerated gags, while Chuck Jones gave him sharper wit and careful timing. Friz Freleng emphasized music and rhythm, making Bugs' tricks feel like perfectly timed routines. Meanwhile, animator Bob McKimson created the official Bugs model in 1943, smoothing out earlier inconsistencies, giving him rounder cheeks, a broader mouth, and a confident stance. This unified look allowed audiences to recognize Bugs instantly, no matter the director. By the mid-1940s, he was not just another cartoon rabbit, but a defined character with personality, style, and charisma, cementing his place as Warner Brothers' breakout star. Wartime Bugs, World War II propaganda cartoons. During World War II, Bugs Bunny became more than comic relief. He was a symbol of American resilience. Warner Brothers used him in several propaganda shorts, often pitting him against caricatured Axis enemy. In Any Bonds Today, 1942, Bugs even encouraged audiences to buy war bonds, directly linking his persona to the national effort.
Not unless you buy a share of freedom today.
Shorts like Bugs Bunny, Nips the Nips, and Super Rabbit framed him as a patriotic trickster who could outwit enemies as easily as Elmer Fudd. While many of these cartoons are controversial today, they reflected the era's culture and propaganda goals. Bugs' wisecracking defiance and refusal to lose under pressure resonated with wartime audiences, further elevating him from cartoon star to cultural icon. Post-war stardom, late 1940s. After the war, Bugs Bunny fully established himself as Warner Brothers' top star. The late 1940s brought a surge of theatrical shorts that showcased his personality at its peak. Clever, unshakable, and always ready with a quip. Directors like Chuck Jones and Friz Freleng honed his timing, while Mel Blanc's voice work made his wisecracks iconic. Bugs' rivalry with Elmer Fudd became a recurring highlight, and new foils like Yosemite Sam were introduced to test his quick wit against louder, more aggressive opponents. By the end of the decade, Bugs was no longer just Warner Brothers' leading cartoon, but one of the most recognizable animated figures worldwide, rivaling even Mickey Mouse in cultural impact. The Golden Era, 1950s. The 1950s marked Bugs Bunny's creative peak. During this decade, Warner Bros. Released some of the most memorable shorts in animation history, often pairing Bugs against his most famous rivals. Elmer Fudd remained the bumbling hunter, constantly outsmarted by Bugs' wit. Yosemite Sam, introduced in 1945, became the perfect opposite, loud, short-tempered, and aggressive, making Bugs' cool confidence shine even brighter. Another major dynamic developed with Daffy Duck, where Bugs often played the straight man to Daffy's jealous antics, most famously in Duck Amuck and Rabbit Season/Duck Season shorts. With sharp writing, polished animation, and Mel Blanc's unmatched vocal performance, Bugs defined Warner Brothers' golden era. His role as a trickster hero was at its height, ensuring his place as one of the most enduring cartoon icons of the 20th century. The McKimson model. Classic look. Animator Bob McKimson gave Bugs Bunny his standardized design in the mid-1940s, and by the 1950s, it became the studio's reference point. This model sheet Bugs featured a balanced body, rounded cheeks, larger eyes, and a confident upright stance. The consistency allowed multiple directors, Jones, Freleng, and McKimson himself, to animate Bugs without major visual differences, ensuring audiences always recognized him instantly. This refinement also made him more expressive, capable of both subtle smirks and broad comedic exaggeration. The McKimson model defined the version of Bugs that would dominate shorts, TV, and merchandise for decades, cementing the image still most associated with him today. Oscar recognition, theatrical success. By the late 1940s and early 1950s, Bugs Bunny was not only popular with audiences, but also gaining critical acclaim. In 1958, Nighty Night Bugs won the Academy Award for Best Animated Short, the only Bugs cartoon to do so. Other shorts like What's Opera Doc, 1957, and Rabbit of Seville, 1950, became landmarks in animation history, blending opera and classical music with slapstick comedy. These films showed Bugs' versatility. He could fit into grand, stylized settings while staying true to his mischievous personality. The combination of sophisticated direction, Carl Stallings' musical scores, and Mel Blanc's voice made these shorts timeless. This era confirmed Bugs Bunny's place not just as a studio mascot, but as a true cultural figure whose cartoons were recognized as high art as well as entertainment. The decline, 1960s shorts. By the 1960s, the golden age of theatrical animation was ending. Rising production costs and shrinking demand for cartoon shorts in theaters led Warner Brothers to scale back. Bugs Bunny still appeared in new cartoons, but fewer were produced, and the quality often suffered compared to the polished shorts of the 1940s and 1950s. Directors like Robert McKimson and Friz Freleng kept Bugs active, but the gags became simpler and the animation less refined due to budget cuts. Despite this decline, Bugs maintained his cultural presence through reruns of classic shorts, which aired frequently on television. Though the 1960s marked the end of his dominance in theaters, these years set the stage for Bugs' next life as a television star. TV era, 1960s shows. As theatrical shorts faded, Bugs Bunny found a new home on television. In 1960, The Bugs Bunny Show premiered on ABC, introducing a new generation to the character. Hosted by Bugs himself, the program mixed classic theatrical shorts with new animated bridging sequences, giving the old material fresh life. The show ran in various formats for decades, syndicating Bugs' best cartoons to Saturday morning audiences. This shift cemented his role as a television staple, keeping him visible even as new theatrical output slowed. For many children of the 1960s and beyond, TV became their first exposure to Bugs Bunny, ensuring that his legacy stayed strong during a transitional era for animation. Cultural icon, 1970s specials. In the 1970s, Bugs Bunny thrived through television specials and holiday broadcasts. Warner Brothers packaged classic shorts into themed episodes like Bugs Bunny's Easter Special and Bugs Bunny's Looney Christmas Tales, often adding new animation to link the older material. Bugs also became a central figure in the Bugs Bunny/Roadrunner Hour, which aired throughout the decade and kept him on television screens weekly. By this time, Bugs had fully transitioned into a pop culture icon. His image appeared on lunchboxes, comic books, and merchandise worldwide. Even with fewer brand-new cartoons, his popularity never wavered, proving his staying power beyond the golden age of theatrical shorts. Revival years, 1980s. The 1980s saw renewed efforts to keep Bugs Bunny fresh for modern audiences. Warner Brothers produced new compilation films like The Looney Bugs Bunny Movie, 1981, and Bugs Bunny's third movie, 1001 Rabbit Tales, 1982, which combined classic shorts with newly created footage. These projects introduced Bugs to children who hadn't seen his theatrical work, blending nostalgia with accessibility. He also starred in primetime TV specials, further strengthening his presence outside Saturday mornings. While no longer dominating theaters, Bugs maintained cultural relevance through constant exposure, merchandise, and his role as the central face of Looney Tunes. The 1980s proved that even without new weekly shorts, Bugs Bunny remained timeless and adaptable. Space Jam. 1990s boom. The 1990s brought Bugs Bunny back into the global spotlight with Space Jam, 1996. Teaming up with NBA superstar Michael Jordan, Bugs led the Looney Tunes in a mix of live action and animation that became a cultural phenomenon. The film presented Bugs as a confident leader, bridging classic slapstick with modern sports entertainment. His design was slightly updated, with cleaner lines and brighter colors, but his personality remained sharp and witty. Space Jam introduced Bugs to a new generation, expanding his audience far beyond traditional cartoons. The film's box office success and enduring cultural footprint cemented Bugs Bunny as not just a cartoon icon, but a multimedia star capable of thriving in blockbuster cinema. Back in action, 2000s. In the early 2000s, Warner Brothers tried to revive Bugs Bunny on the big screen with Looney Tunes, Back in Action, 2003. Directed by Joe Dante, the film mixed live action with animation, placing Bugs and Daffy in a globe-trotting adventure. Unlike Space Jam, which emphasized sports and celebrity cameos, this movie leaned into classic cartoon-style gags and fast-paced slapstick. Although it received mixed reviews and underperformed at the box office, it highlighted Warner Brothers' effort to restore Bugs' traditional personality. Beyond the film, Bugs remained active in direct-to-video releases and television reruns, ensuring he stayed present even as theatrical attempts struggled. The 2000s showed that while harder to adapt to modern cinema, Bugs Bunny remained central to the Looney Tunes brand. Modern TV, 2010s. The 2010s brought Bugs Bunny back through television reboots. The Looney Tunes show, 2011 to 2014, reimagined Bugs as a suburban roommate to Daffy Duck, trading slapstick shorts for sitcom-style storytelling. While divisive, it gave Bugs a calmer, more grounded personality while still keeping his wit intact. Later, Wobbit 2015, rebranded as New Looney Tunes, returned Bugs to his trickster roots in fast-paced comedy shorts closer to the classics. These shows aim to modernize Bugs for younger viewers while maintaining the essence that made him iconic. Though reactions varied, the decade proved Warner Brothers was committed to keeping Bugs Bunny relevant in new formats, balancing nostalgia with fresh storytelling. New Legacy, 2020s. In the 2020s, Bugs Bunny returned to the big screen in Space Jam: A New Legacy 2021, this time alongside NBA star LeBron James. The film updated Bugs with polished CGI animation while keeping his trademark humor and leadership role intact. Beyond the movie, Bugs has remained active on HBO Max through Looney Tunes Cartoons, a series that brought him back to his classic slapstick style with modern animation technique. These shorts reintroduced Bugs' mischievous, quick-witted personality to both longtime fans and new viewers. 8 decades after his debut, Bugs Bunny continues to evolve with each generation, proving his adaptability while holding on to the clever, unshakable charm that first made him an icon. I'm going to keep dropping more of these cartoon breakdowns, so if that's your thing, stick around. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for being here, and catch you next time.